Hey guys, it's Lotus and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to continue on with our read-along of Guardian. Let's jump right into it. Chapter 5. The hand darts out of the shadow suddenly, fingers spread wide, and viciously snatches at Shunwei's foot. Looking straight ahead, he doesn't seem to notice anything. Zhao Yunlan grabs his arm and abruptly pulls him back half a step. "Oh right, I just remembered," Zhao Yunlan says, keeping his eyes on Shunwei while casually flicking cigarette ash into the shadow. The sinister hand swiftly retreats, as if burned. Sounding impatient, Zhao Yunlan continues, "See how my memory sucks? This case was handed to us on short notice. How can I cooperate with the university? I should chat with your principal or the secretary. If it's convenient, could you help me make an appointment?" Shunwei finally looks at Zhao Yunlan, and Zhao Yunlan realizes only now that the outer corners of Shunwei's eyes taper into a delicate black line, like a brushstroke on an ink-washed painting. From behind the lenses, his captivating gaze almost penetrates the soul. In the dim corridors, Shunwei's gaze makes him think of that ghost story in which a demon falls in love with a scholar and paints a picture of him. Though the scholar might be bright and mild, the painting would unavoidably be tainted by the artist's demonic nature. Then Shunwei smiles. "Right, I can't be of much help here. The rooms on the south side all belong to the Faculty of Mathematics. Just ask around, and I'll speak with the principal." "Thanks." Zhao Yunlan takes a hand out of his pocket and smiles as he shakes hands with Shunwei. He waits for Go Changcheng to follow and turns around, heading towards the offices. After a few steps, Go Changcheng finds himself looking back. He notices the professor hasn't left. He's standing as if rooted in place. He takes off his glasses and wipes them inattentively with the corner of his jacket. Where earlier he had avoided eye contact, he is now focusing unwaveringly on Zhao Yunlan's back. He has a faraway gaze, and his expression is a mix of nostalgia, restraint, and yearning that's on the verge of spilling over. And yet, it also seems to contain deep sorrow. Wait, is the music too loud? I just realized it might be a little loud. Let me just lower it a little bit. Okay, hopefully it's not too loud. Shunwei's shadow trails along behind him in the dimly lit hallway, looking lonely and bleak. Go Changcheng has a strange feeling that Shunwei must have waited like that for a millennia. Only after Zhao Yunlan has turned the corner does Shunwei notice Go Changcheng looking. The young professor smiles politely and puts his glasses back on as if redonning a mask. He nods goodbye at Go Changcheng, picks up his lesson plan, turns, and disappears into the elevator, as if everything just now had been the terrified little intern's illusion. Chief Zhao! That guy! Have you noticed that this is not the so-called office of the Faculty of Mathematics? Zhao Yunlan interrupts him. He swipes some dirt off the dusty windowsill and rubs it between his fingertips. Do you think it's an accident? Or did Professor Shun trick us intentionally? Maybe because Zhao Yunlan has a young vibe to him, or perhaps because he's always easygoing and cordial, Go Changcheng's courage gradually grows bit by bit, and he asks, "Then why did you let him go? I mean, if he tricked us intentionally, then why?" Zhao Yunlan holds a cigarette in one hand. The other is buried in his pocket as he looks at Go Changcheng through a cloud of smoke. Go Changcheng falls silent. "He's a normal human. I checked just now. You're a newcomer. It's alright if you don't understand these matters. We'll teach you bit by bit." Zhao Yunlan lowers his voice. "Generally, we have the same authority as our colleagues from other departments. When there's no evidence, we can ask questions, require citizens to cooperate with our investigation. We can even arrest suspects and interrogate them. But there's one important rule. Under no circumstances can we let a normal citizen we've arrested get into danger, because if something happens to them, there's no way to make it right." His tone isn't harsh. It's rather gentle. But maybe it's the chill in the hallway that's making Go Changcheng shiver. Zhao Yunlan's back is turned to him as he continues. "You've probably realized by now that we tend to get rather abnormal cases, many of which cannot be resolved through regular legal prosecution, and so we have the power to execute criminals on the spot. That could be a dangerous power, and that's why there's a set of rules we must follow. Do you know what the first rule is?" Go Changcheng shakes his head numbly. but when he realizes Zhao Yunlan can't see him, he blushes. Regardless of whether we're dealing with a human or a ghost, if there's no compelling evidence, we must presume innocence. Zhao Yunlan gives the black cat a pat on the butt. And you, damn fatty, what were you doing just now, fawning like a stupid dog? The black cat claws at Zhao Yunlan unceremoniously, bounces off him, and aggressively walks in front of them. I just think there's something strange about that Professor Shun. I can't tell what, but being close to him makes me comfortable. Ghosts make you very comfortable too. You even like to hide your dried fish in coffins, Zhao Yunlan points out coldly. The black cat flicks his tail and says disdainfully, You know what I mean, stupid human. Go Changcheng is left speechless. The corridor gets darker the further they walk ahead, like a never-ending gloomy maze. Zhao Yunlan lights the way with his lighter, a small flame flickering uncomfortably in the darkness. The smile disappears from Zhao Yunlan's face. Lit by the flame, he looks unhealthily pale and exhausted, but his gaze is very focused, even deeper than the darkness surrounding him. There's a rotten smell coming from the dark depths, and Go Changcheng covers his nose. I hate going around this corridor in circles, Zhao Yunlan says softly. I hate anything that's circular, like an infinite cycle of life and death. His words are already stressing Go Changcheng to breaking point when he hears a sudden click, like that of a loading pistol. Soft air against his neck makes him jump. Then he hears Zhao Yunlan say evenly, Move aside. It's as if he's casually asking someone to move aside because he's coming through with a hot bowl of dumplings. Without waiting for any more instructions, Go Changcheng throws himself to the ground, scared witless. Gunfire rings out in the dark, followed by a piercing scream from behind. If Go Changcheng had fur, it would stick up even more than Da Qing's when someone touches his butt. He feels like he's having a heart attack. His heart pounds frantically, and his chest hurts intensely. He sits on the floor, looking up in the dim light of Zhao Yunlan's lighter, and sees the shadow of a 5-year-old girl on the wall, with a bullet hole through her heart and blood steadily flowing from there. What is that? Go Changcheng shrieks, his voice even higher than usual. It's just a shadow, don't overreact. Zhao Yunlan wipes away the shadow with his hand, and the blood falls off like peeling dried paint. What kind of shadow? Zhao Yunlan faces him with a creepy grin and whispers eerily, You know, sometimes a person can have more than one shadow. Go Changcheng drops against the wall, sliding down like a bunch of noodles. This is all your fault. Da Qing circles the unconscious Go Changcheng, restlessly swishing his tail. What good does it do to you when he passes out? I didn't mean to. Zhao Yunlan nudges the body gently with his foot, but it just slides even further down. How would I know he'd pass out so easily? I thought he would just, pee his pants or something. Zhao Yunlan slings Go Changcheng on his shoulder like a bag of beans. Then I could have blamed it on the adult diapers and cut his salary. He walks fast despite carrying the body and asks coolly, So tell me, this kid must have some connections or he would have never gotten a job here. I heard his uncle is one of the big guys in the MPS. Doesn't that idiot know we don't take new recruits directly from other departments at the SIU? Or maybe he figured a little line of duty death would be a good way for his useless nephew to go? Don't complain to me, Da Qing meows. You call him an idiot behind his back, but if you ever see him, you'd greet him as the big boss. I've lived for a few thousand years, and you're the guardian with the least integrity. Integrity doesn't make money. Zhao Yunlan stubs out the cigarette and softly taps the cat on the head. What about your huge monthly paycheck, regular bonuses, and special rights exclusive to the SIU? They don't come from the sky, do they? What's integrity? Is it edible? Is it tasty? Da Qing thinks of all the high-class cat food he enjoys daily and shuts his feline mouth. Generations of guardians have been responsible for affairs of the underworld in the realm of the living. The guardian inevitably feels apart from others on Earth. Rarely has there ever been a guardian so close to the living world. Not only is he close to the living, he is very well adapted to the formalities and complexities of modern human society. He's your classic bad boy, gentleman, and rogue all in one. He does kind and friendly well, and he does bad and nasty even better. The old cat can't help but think that if that if it weren't for his unfortunately inheriting the guardian token, Zhao Yunlan probably would have climbed up the social ladder pretty fast. So that's the end of chapter 5. So Shunwei drops them off at the mathematics department, but when Zhao Yunlan and Go Changcheng takes a look around, they have to walk through this long winding path and they don't seem to find the department, so they're kind of suspicious of Professor Shun. And Zhao Yunlan is up to his old tricks, scaring the wits out of Go Changcheng, and so Go Changcheng passes out, and now Zhao Yunlan has to lug his body around. Poor first day for this intern, right? Okay, let's move on to chapter 6. Chapter 6. What happened to the corridor? What happened in the corridor there just now? Unwilling to bite the hand that feeds him, Da Qing coughs dryly and changes the subject. Why did your revealing mirror activate an alarm? Something was tailing us, Zhao Yunlan says, but it ran away as soon as I shone a light on it. Probably meant no harm. Not the killer? How would I know? Oh, how could it be? You think I can't tell the difference between new ghosts and evil phantoms? Zhao Yunlan is still carrying Go Changcheng around the corridors. Besides, you saw the handprint next to the corpse, didn't you? Bones as thin as wood, fingers as long as a whip, whatever that was, it was definitely not human. Damn, this guy is heavy. I'm gonna put him down somewhere. With that, Zhao Yunlan casually throws Go Changcheng down in a corner. Oof, poor intern. He looks down at him indifferently for a while, as if deciding to leave and let the guy fend for himself. After a while, though, he kneels down and takes out a small bottle. He pours some substance around Go Changcheng in a circle, then bites his finger and smears a drop of blood onto Go Changcheng's forehead. The blood is instantly sucked into his skin, and the pale trainee looks much better than before. Zhao Yunlan slaps his head lightly and curses under his breath. Good for nothing, you're such a bother. Stop it, Zhao Yunlan, look at your watch. Zhao Yunlan looks down, and his revealing watch has turned red again. Da Qing squeals at his feet, and when he follows the cat's line of sight, he sees an elderly figure dressed in a dark shroud standing behind them. The figure turns and walks away, but after 2 steps, it stops. It seems to be leading them somewhere. A new ghost? Da Qing rushes forward on his short legs, meowing and grumbling. In broad daylight, it's gotta be out of its mind. Shut it, can't you see she's mute? And can't you see she's still alive? She's walking on 2 legs instead of floating midair. Have you lost your cat mind, fatty? When they round a sharp corner, the old woman has disappeared. In front of them is a staircase leading to the roof of the building. Da Qing sneezes and huffs. What a big whiff of resentment. Zhao Yunlan picks him up. Looks like it's not Professor Shun, but the old lady who led us here. Let's go up, take a look. Man and cat carefully mount the stairs, which feel squishy and alive under their feet. Countless creatures reach out from the shadows of darkness and grab at these living creatures that dare intrude into their domain, but they are viciously repelled as soon as they touch Zhao Yunlan's trouser legs. Every school has a suicide quota every year, so as long as no more people die than that, it's not a big problem, Zhao Yunlan says. But I hear that Dragon City University has exceeded the limit for 3 consecutive years. The buildings in the original campus are old and not high, so you can't be sure you'll die if you jump off them. Only this new high-rise building seems tall enough to be suitable. In addition, the maze-like interior structure must have trapped quite a few nasty things. The resentment would accumulate over time. They're at the top of the stairs, but the rusty iron door to the roof is closed, weak light shining through the crack. Zhao Yunlan takes out an access card and opens it. Then he holds up his lighter and slowly heads for the roof. From the rooftop of the 18th floor, one can get a full view of the lush Dragon City University campus and the hustling and bustling city center. A girl stands on the rooftop, facing outwards. Zhao Yunlan carefully probes. Hey, student! Before he gets any further, the girl climbs over the railing and jumps off. Zhao Yunlan instinctively rushes forward and tries to grab her. His hand touches the girl's back, but it goes right through her. The girl disappears, like a mirage. The black cat bounces forward like a ball. Well, was it a human? I'm not sure. She was too fast. Zhao Yunlan unconsciously rubs his fingers. I didn't have time to tell whether... Zhao Yunlan was born possessing the third eye. Since childhood, he has been able to see ghosts, but because of this ability, it's hard for him to tell human from ghost if he doesn't take a closer look. The black cat is about to say something, but pounding footsteps approach from behind. Turning, Zhao Yunlan sees the same girl, head down, walking slowly up to the top floor. Her face is blurred, her expression unreadable. Before Zhao Yunlan can open his mouth, she speeds up as if rushing to the cafeteria and lunges out from the top of the building. Zhao Yunlan reaches out and grabs her shoulder, but the same thing happens. His hand goes right through her, and she disappears. Afterwards, it's like jumping off a building has become the new fashion. One after another, blurred girls rush forward from all over to fling themselves down. Zhao Yunlan tries to grab every one of them, but none of them are tangible. In a short while, he's soaked in sweat. Da Qing has given up by the 8th girl and sits like a statue beside the frantic Zhao Yunlan, tail flipping impatiently left and right like a pendulum. Stop chasing after them. It's either an earthbound spirit or a remnant illusion from a former suicide. Zhao Yunlan ignores him. Zhao Yunlan is quick with his fists and has had training. Beating up a handful of hooligans is no problem for him. But his physique is average, his life irregular, and he doesn't exercise enough. After a few rounds, he's quite out of breath. The black cat sighs. 1 or 2, okay? But 3? You've caught 8! Can't you tell she isn't human? How do you know they're all the same person? What's your evidence that I'm the only person here? When the next one comes, are you sure we're still in the same space? When she comes out, can you tell straight away if she's human or a dummy? Rule number 3. Make no assumptions. Have you eaten the rules along with your cat food? Zhao Yunlan gives the cat a stern glare. When faced with strength, the foul-mouthed cat is weak. He waves his tail feebly and mutters, "Trying to teach me? I'm a few thousand years old. And you, little brat, dare pose as the leader and teach me." Zhao Yunlan doesn't back down. "If you don't shut up, I'm going to cut down on your cat food." A wise cat trims his sails, and Da Qing changes his tone quickly. "Meow." Just then, the 9th suicidal girl comes rushing forward. Zhao Yunlan shouts, "Hey girl, wait!" She ignores him and sprints forward like an arrow. "Effin' hell!" Zhao Yunlan's hand meets air again, and forgetting all his righteous sermons, he furiously slams his hand on the cold, hard railing. Da Qing comes over, 2 front paws on the railing, and gives the area a thorough sniff. "Actually, you might be right. While earthbound spirits sometimes resemble broken records, trapped in an endless loop of their own death, they're usually not in such a hurry to die." "Then what is it?" Zhao Yunlan asks. "It's resentment." Da Qing wears a solemn expression on his plump, puffy face. "Suicide is an unnatural cause of death, so these spirits have a high chance of not being able to reincarnate. Some of these spirits are trapped between the realms of the living and the dead, and they become incomplete and forget about their identities." "A place with a lot of resentment certainly makes you uncomfortable, but it's not harmful, is it?" Zhao Yunlan asks. "It probably isn't, but since resentment comes from spirit fragments, when more gather they might become strong enough to solidify. That girl might be the result of countless shattered spirits forming resentment." "What happens when they solidify?" "Nothing, really. Resentment is different from wrath. It's not as vicious. Only those who are infested with ghosts in the first place are haunted by resentment. Resentment definitely doesn't have the power to touch the girl, let alone cut open her stomach," the black cat explains. "So I think we'd better leave. There's nothing for us here." Zhao Yunlan hesitates. The cat sighs. "Oh, you! When you're meant to be principled, you mess around, but when you're supposed to be flexible, you get stubborn. The guardian token has been passed down through millennia. Those rules don't matter anymore. Do you really have to be so obsessive?" "No, but I still think..." Zhao Yunlan falls silent as the 10th girl approaches. Man and cat tense as the girl rushes forward, leaps over the fence, and makes a suicidal jump like all of her predecessors. Zhao Yunlan senses something different and pounces forward with all his might, grabbing the girl by her waist. The blue veins on his hands bulge as he struggles to pull the girl back up. This time, it's a real, actual person. The black cat is astonished and quickly leaps onto the fence, emerald eyes staring intently. Zhao Yunlan is in an awkward position. It takes all his strength to hold up onto the girl, and he can't pull her back up. His leg is trapped in the railing, and his whole upper body is about to succumb to gravity. the girl dangles dangerously from the 18th floor. Suddenly, she realizes her position, lets out an ear-splitting scream, and starts struggling instinctively. Zhao Yunlan shouts desperately, "If you keep moving, you're gonna be street pizza! Stay put!" At this instant, the railing cracks. Maybe it's old, or it just can't handle a person's weight. At any rate, it's coming loose. Zhao Yunlan seems not to have noticed and continues, "Stay calm! Don't be afraid! You hang in there!" Suddenly, with a loud clang, the railing breaks. Zhao Yunlan hears eerie laughter. It's as if the roof were full of people, a whole crowd standing by indifferently, gloating and giggling. Daqing screeches frantically, "Meow!" In the nick of time, a man kicks open the door to the rooftop and rushes forward with lightning speed, just as the railing starts to fall. Zhao Yunlan instantly shifts his weight to his heels, just in time to push the girl into the arms of the person who dashed over. Next, he's stepping on air, barely hanging on to the edge of the roof. Daqing finally realizes, the person who rushed forward is Professor Shen. Shenwei instantly pushes the girl behind him and grabs hold of the precariously wobbling Zhao Yunlan. "Give me your hand, and the other one, quick!" Wow, they literally left us off at a cliffhanger. Okay, so that was the end of chapter 6. In chapter 6, they're walking around, they see this old lady, and so they start following her, and they're led to they're led to the rooftop steps, which they go upstairs, and then they keep seeing ghosts of girls jumping over the railing and jumping off the building to their death. So at first, Zhao Yunlan keeps trying to catch them, thinking that they're real, but it turns out that they're all like ghosts or apparitions. And as they're trying to figure out what exactly is causing this loop, because there's a constant stream of girls running and jumping, they realize that the last girl that tries to jump is actually alive. And so Zhao Yunlan quickly grabs onto her before she's like splats on the ground below, but the old railing on the roof breaks, and so they're gonna fall and plummet to their death. Luckily, the man of the hour, Professor Shenwei, is here, and he's here to the rescue, zooms to the rescue, quickly saves the girl, and ends with him grabbing onto Zhao Yunlan before Zhao Yunlan could fall to his death. So, we know Zhao Yunlan's gonna be fine, but they left us at a cliffhanger anyway. Thanks, priest! But anyway, what did you guys think of the reading? I'm still definitely getting a lot of eerie vibes. It's definitely a lot scarier than the drama. I know I said it before, but I'll say it again. The vibe is just totally different. It's really, really like gory, and I got like chills reading this, you know? And of course, the BGM doesn't help. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's read-along, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!